Definitely one of the most anticipated games of 2025 is going to be The Ghost of Yōtei, which is the sequel to the Game of the Year, Ghost of Tsushima. This is going to be a PlayStation console exclusive, although I'm sure Sony will eventually port it over to PC at some point in the future. Today there was a live stream talking about the game and some of the new features and functionality. This video is not going to cover that. The video today is going to cover all of the cool new stuff that you could buy if you are a fan of the game. Now, I did a video in the past. I'll post a link to that in the description box below. Go and check that video out if you want to see my thoughts on the collector edition and the reason that I'm not getting the collector edition. Largely it comes down to pretty steep price, as well as the fact that the actual game isn't included, and that does agitate me. For that price, I feel like I should get the disc, right? But if you still want some Ghost of Yōtei stuff, but you are not interested in picking up the collector edition, well, they are going to be releasing console bundles and accessories, which in a first, I believe, this is the first PlayStation Pro themed console, unless you include the coveted 30th anniversary edition that I was able to scoop up. A numbered edition. I am still shocked. I got 08762, the one and only in the whole world. And I play it every single day and I love it. So this isn't going to be for me personally. I'm very, very happy with my 30th anniversary edition. However, if you're looking to spice up your PlayStation console, well, you might want to check this out. So they're going to release two variants of this. There's going to be a gold variant and there's going to be a black variant. I think both look incredibly, incredibly clean. And from a cursory view, they're the same. It's just gold or black. The DualSense is going to feature the same artwork as well, gold or black. And I think the store does a little bit better job showing off some better detail here. So first you have the console here, and you could see that it's got a mountain here on one side, and then on the other side, all it has is the sacred symbols, which honestly I'm fine with. Most people, I shouldn't say most people, I suspect most people store their consoles horizontally. And I think this is largely due to how people have their entertainment centers set up. I don't know if there's a lot of room here, right? There's a lot of room to be able to kind of sneak that in. But if you're interested in either of these variants, they're not going to be available for a while. So don't feel like you need to rush out. They will be PlayStation Store exclusives, and they will probably go almost instantly. So Ghost of Yōtei is going to feature the new character Atsu. And Atsu is featured prominently on the controller. I don't see her on the actual console, but I think they did a good job. You know, you got to think of, Japanese kanji. I know a little bit about this only because I did some research when I got my tattoo on my shoulder. I wanted to make sure that it was accurate, so I didn't get like the word, dog or dummy posted on my arm. I wanted to make sure it was the correct word, but I really fell in love with the style and the art behind kanji, and specific brush strokes and fluidity mean a lot to that culture, and it is expressed very, very heavily in their written word. So the fact that the controller has brush marks and swirls and fluidity to it, the way that it kind of swirls around the D-pad and through the character. And a lot of times you think of that traditional Japanese filmography or cinematography where there's always a character standing there. They have that long hat, that kind of like brimmed hat there, long sword. And then usually their cape or a cloak is kind of flowing with, traditionally it's rose petals or some sort of like lily blossoms or something kind of, working its way through. And I think they were trying to capture that sense of movement and fluidity on the controller. And I think they nailed it. I think it looks great. Sony has always struggled with, in my opinion, how to find meaningful art on the left and right grips. Sometimes they'll just plaster a logo on there, or they kind of ignore it altogether and they instead focus on the touchpad. But here I feel like this actually works. And I would argue that this is probably the nicest DualSense controller we have seen yet. in terms of artwork. Although I do think the Astrobot controller is still super, super minimalistically clean, I think this one actually really tells a story of kind of what's going on here, and I like it. So there's the gold variant, the gold limited edition, and the black limited edition. Both of them are the same. I like them both. I don't know if I have a preference personally. I'm not going to get either, by the way, but I don't know if I have a preference one over the other. However, if you don't want to buy a new console and you don't want to buy a new controller, well, they're going to sell the actual console covers. Now, we have not seen these in a long time. The last big console cover that came out that I can recall was during the Spider-Man 2 event, which Best Buy was the exclusive retailer at the time. And in my opinion, Best Buy is the worst retailer because of how bad their system is to pre-order things. Well, they had this Best Buy Drops system, and it went live on there, and it sold out almost instantly. I don't know a lot of people that got them. I'm sure they did. Of course, they were available online almost immediately for, double the price, which is frustrating. But I'm trying to really struggle to think, when did I actually see the console covers really for any game in a while? I really can't think of any. So this is kind of a big deal. Again, being out 30th anniversary collector edition. Not for me personally, but if you still are rocking the original kind of OG PlayStation 5 or the new PlayStation 5 Pro, well, they are going to be selling the console covers. Now, these console covers are only going to be available in the gold edition. So they're not going to release console covers for the black edition. So it's kind of up to you, as if you're going to get the whole set, do you want them to match? Do you want the gold console covers and the black controller? Are you going for the actual whole bundled console? They have a black version of that. There's some options here. The one thing that is unfortunately missing is a DualSense Edge controller, which I think is a big oversight. I personally think I think that would look really, really clean as well. But unfortunately, that is not available. That still only remains available in the 30th anniversary variant or the original variant. But lots and lots of goodness coming out today. I'm going to leave some links to all this in the description box below. While you're down there, please consider subscribing to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And let me know in the comments what you think about this. I think it looks pretty damn sharp. I really do. And I think if I wasn't already so heavily invested in getting a super limited edition console, I would definitely be scooping this up. All right. Thank you all so much for watching it, making it to the end. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give me a thumbs up. That's all I got. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.